been blessed with just having some beautiful park facilities.
I like woods golf. I think that's where the finesse comes in. It's not just bombs and lots of power, and I think that's the most challenging part of disc golf.
It's not all about distance. We see scores affected by the wind here every year, affected by the tight wooded fairways.
Out here, it can get a little frustrating because you can be just a little off. When you pure the line, it's really rewarding and you're gaining strokes.
I will no longer be playing the Waco Open just due to my injury. I just feel like it's a smart choice right now.
It's my first tournament back, and I try not to put any expectations on me. As an athlete and as a competitive spirit, it's something that's very hard to do.
I would like to consider myself still one of the top players in the game, and I come out here to compete at the highest level.
Some of these holes, I feel like I'm seeing the fairway more. No, I feel really good with my game and how it fits this course.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Prodigy. We're at the Beast Disc Golf Course located alongside the Brazos River. Bradley Williams off to a spicy start here today. That is for par on 16. He'd head over to hole number 17. This is his second shot. It sets up the birdie look. Off the mark there, but he lays up on 18 to put himself into position. That'll be an easy tap in for Bradley Williams. That's going to be a 9 under par. Very clean afternoon out here for Bradley.
Get my number. I couldn't go past it.
And he says he shot his number. Well, 9 under currently places him in second place to a previous Waco Charity Open winner in Nico LaCastro, who's also off to a great start with his 10 under effort, the only player that we've seen in double digits for now. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined alongside 3-time world champ and future Hall of Famer in Nate Dawson. Nate, we're seeing some great scores get started here so far, but the question is this title truly up for grabs for anyone this weekend?
Well, it most certainly is. Obviously, Nico LaCastro has shot that 10 under par. But if you looked at all those players that were 7 under, they've played 11 holes, and we still haven't even gotten our feature. This course is open for business. There's wooded holes, there's open holes, just like we saw in the Open. It is a fantastic challenge for all of the players, and the weather's really nice today, so I think the players are definitely chomping at the bit.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily just require on distance, as some of our longer courses will, bringing a lot more players into the mix. Going to be excited to see what they can do out there today.
No question about it.
Now, we're going to take a look at Brian Earhart, or we're going to hear from Brian Earhart. He maybe can even back this up a little bit in what we've seen in previous years. Brian, a couple of years ago, how did you manage yourself around the course?
Yeah, I would say 2019 was a pretty wild year for me. I had just gotten top 10 finish at the Memorial, and they put me on the feature card at Waco, and then day before a freak accident happened. I broke my foot, tried to play out the tournament, and actually had some fantastic rounds throwing standstill forehand only. So pretty wild experience for me, but this course is pretty wild in the sense that anything can really happen out here, and if you just stick to your game plan, you can score hot.
Well, Brian, I guess the only follow-up question I have for you is standstill forehands. How many pro tips, how many of those pro tips have you given out to the rest of our players out there?
Just stick with it, Terry. Stick with it.
And one guy who won't be throwing any forehands today, if he can help it, is Kale LaVisca. He's on the tee, ready to go. Hole number 1.
Second in the order for your 2:34 tee time from Safety Harbor, Florida, Calvin Heimberg. And third on the card for your 2:34 tee time from Gray, Tennessee, Chris Dickerson. Chris. And rounding out your card for the 2:34 tee time from Wichita, Kansas, Luke Humphreys. Luke.
We tee for the second year in a row.
Well, earlier today, Matty O here on hole number 1 from deep in circle 2, cashing that one in. Off to a great start, picking up birdies on the first 3 holes. Here's Eric Oakley. Hole number 14. This is tracking right at the pin. You see one of the new trees that have been planted there on 14.
Spice up your life.
And now we come back for Luke Humphreys. We heard him in frustration say how this is the second year in a row he's had to re-tee, and this doesn't look good either. Wow.
You know, it's frustrating, especially when you look at the conditions here on hole number 1. For Luke to have missed twice there is got to be frustrating for him, of course, but just a huge mistake.
Well, I'm going to follow this up. Where are they giving him in bounds is the next question. Has he found anywhere in bounds up the fairway? That was so wide right. I'm curious to see what they're going to mark him as.
Well, Terry, if I go back to the All-Star event where I was pretty convinced of a Mando miss, I'm going to just hold off on this one and give the benefit of the doubt. But I do agree with you that it did not seem like he did ever cross in bounds after that second tee shot.
Oh, and it looks like we had a clarification from the production booth. The first one being the OB. The second one that you just saw was, in fact, the re-tee. So clearly that one is in bounds. Not an impressive shot nonetheless, but that one is in bounds.
And clearly I'm getting the hang of this because I didn't make a call. And,
there you go.
And we just let it play out. So either way, tough start for Luke.
You know, we heard in the press conference yesterday, Cale talking about how he likes his chances here. He's playing great golf. He's obviously been off to a great start here in the season, in that we've seen him playing in both MPO and MP40, where he's found success in both. And he knows that this may get to a longer course and a different style next year. And he said he'd really love to pick up a win here before this course or this tournament changes up its format.
Well, and Cale came so close 2 years ago against Nico LaCastro. Had it not been for just an incredible shot from Nico, Cale might have been the champion back in 2021. And nice putt there from Calvin Heimberg. Great start with the birdie. You know, I for Cale LaVisca, yeah, he is now eligible to play in the Masters division, but for Cale's an incredible athlete, and he's a great disc golfer. He has been for a long time, and I would certainly not be surprised if Cale could put together another good performance here this week in Waco.
The shot you were just talking about a few moments ago, as we take a little flashback out here to hole number 17. Cale in the background watching on. And Cale just stands there and watches as Nico fist pumps and runs to retrieve it. All the momentum in the world for Nico LaCastro to then go on, become champion here in Waco. After picking up a birdie on 14, we've got Eric Oakley now in the tee of 15.
Yeah, and that birdie took Oakley to 9 under par, so great chance here for Oakley if he can keep this in bounds. And Terry, that's immediately left. That's overplayed, and watch out, head hunting. And it's going to hit one of our spectators. And unfortunately for Eric, he is out of bounds. It looks like the spectator's okay as well. Terry, in these conditions, hole number 2 is an absolute must-get for our competitors here. If you're looking on UDisc Live, I mean, a massive portion of this field have birdied 1, 2, and 3. It's been the common start for some of the best players in the field. Cannot give this one up. Just 631 feet, pretty much a standard hyzer off the tee. We just want to find the and then it's just a chip second shot to this basket.
This morning from a shorter tee, we saw the women play this at 56% birdie rate. Right now the men from a slightly longer tee are playing this with a 51% birdie rate. So as you're saying, it is definitely a must-get birdie.
Another decent shot there from Dickerson.
Oh, and even easier. I apologize, Nate. This is, as you're showing me, 65% of the field have birdied this.
I mean,
it's getting easier as we speak.
Correct.
Great recovery tee shot there that we're seeing there from Luke Humphreys. We'll see if he can pick things up. We've got Brian Earhart on the ground along with the PDGA zone, Hayden Henry. Take it away, guys.
We can't ask for better conditions right now on the Beast. Potentially the best weather we've had in years. 5-mile-an-hour wind. The sun's starting to come out. Everyone's having a good time. Hayden, this morning was pretty incredible, huh?
An ideal start to the Texas swing. Welcome back, Kristen Tatar. Got a course record this morning, and Nico LaCastro's in with 10 under par, and a handful of players are heading that way too. So just perfect here in Waco.
A lot of players are going to come out swinging. Conditions again are better than we've ever seen them. A lot of the holes that are tough to get when the wind does pick up are going to be walks in the park, literally, for these players. Jumping to the PDGA side. Quite a few things to announce right now, huh?
Yeah, last week we hit 250,000 lifetime members, which is super exciting just to see the trajectory over the past couple of years. So we're seeing the active numbers increase daily as tournament season has arrived, not just for the Pro Tour, but for A, B, and C tiers around the world.
You heard him, folks. We're going to send it back to you in the booth, Terry. Big day of disc golf coming up.
To see how we're going to play out on this very scoreable day in the opening round of our Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Prodigy.
Yeah, and it's obviously those two guys talking about the weather. This is beautiful. I mean, we literally have not been able to use the drone in other years because it's been so windy, and I think this is the making for a lot of players stacked up around the lead after today's round is over. I would expect to have the conversation towards the end of the round of a lot of players in contention.
And now here's Eric Oakley. This is for bogey. That's going to go on to be a double bogey to bring him to 7 under. So still a solid round, but that's quite the speed bump he's hit. As Humphreys almost dumps that one in the basket for eagle.
Yeah, I mean, almost in a weird way, a little lucky. Didn't hit the basket there. That might have kicked off OB very close. You can see here from the drone shot how you have the path right, long, and left here of this basket.
Calvin looking to make quick work. We're going to be right back with our feature card. We'll see you in a moment.
This year, Prodigy is celebrating its 10th year as a disc golf disc manufacturer. In the beginning of this journey, we found out that making discs isn't so easy. It wasn't too long in the process that something just clicked. To celebrate Prodigy's 10-year anniversary, we wanted to bring an old plastic back that you can find in some older runs of M4s, but it is not a plastic from Prodigy's current selection. You will see this logo more on our 10-year anniversary special releases.
This looks perfect. Off the basket. Now it's rolling. It's headed for the OB. This needs to sit. Oh my goodness. It's safe. Right on the line. She's going to have about a 30-foot putt for the win. Okay, here we go. The putt is up. Boom. It's in. Strong side with authority. What an incredible moment. Yes.
I think this golfing can improve our community in many ways. It brings people together.
That maybe some of these kids who feel a little bit lost could find something like disc golf, find friends, find people to come together and play the sport.
Encouraging people to work together, kids to know one another, love one another.
A way for these kids to have a really fun thing to do together.
I think that's what we need in the world, love one another and do life together.
What people are going to notice when they pick up the Supreme Series is superior grip, superior durability.
The inspiration of creating a new disc line for Dynamic Discs was to actually step up the quality even more.
Our friends over at Latitude 64 have to have special molds made. And this Supreme line of plastic is truly a premium plastic. It's a premium disc, and you will know it when you touch it and when you throw it, that it's as good as it gets.
The Force has been my staple driver ever since I've started throwing Discraft. And when I lose one, I know I can go straight back to the shelf and get a brand new one, and I know it's going to be very overstable and reliable. force has been a foundational part of my game and consistency for me on the course.
And as we take a look at the current conditions out there, we're going to throw it out to Brian. I'm seeing 64 degrees and just 5 miles per hour. Brian, confirm or deny it's gorgeous out there?
I mean, I don't even know how many more times I can say it, Terry. I think I could sleep out here tonight, be totally fine. This is perfect disc golf weather. Honestly, this is great.
We're seeing no wind direction at all, even listed earlier north to northeast, but favorable, as Brian has told us now. Taking a look at Cale Lavisca, tee of 3. They put in a new tree, and Cale easily navigates around it. After Oakley came back with a birdie on 16, here he is on 17 with his second shot. And if that checks up, it's going to give him a nice look for birdie there as well.
I mean, if that putt goes down, he's back to 9 under par, which is where he was just a few holes back, and a chance to go to 10 down to tie Nico Lacastro for Oakley.
Your 6-time world champion from Huntington Beach, California, Paul Macbeth.
I like that guy. He's my hero.
Second in the order for your 250 tee time from Greenwood, Arkansas, Kevin Jones. And third in the order for your 250 tee time from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Isaac Robinson.
Hate that play. The dumbest shot ever.
And rounding out your card for the 250 tee time from Urbandale, Iowa, Gannon Burr.
Not too bad for our final feature card, as they're looking at about 28 combined feet away from the basket if you add them all up. Here's Chris Dickerson, tee of 3, playing the little flex. And I like if it catches edge. It does exactly what he wants, inside the bullseye. Now Oakley for the birdie look on 17. Count it. So Oakley looking to make a push to tie for the hot score of Nico Lacastro if he can finish with a birdie on 18.
Yeah, these favorable conditions and his power, he can go for it.
Well, out here for the Brazos Park East, otherwise known as the Beast, Texas #3 disc golf course out of 643. I think that's an incredible statistic with so many options to choose from to say that it's the #3 course. Our MPO layout features a 63, just shy of 8,000 feet, and it is the shortest Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series course that we'll see here in 2023. The highest birdie rate of 57.5 was found on hole 7, and 18 has the best scoring separation. And we take a look at UDisc, discover over 14,000 courses. UDisc, the app for disc golfers. Then again, wait a day or two, we might be at 18,000 courses. I hear we've now surpassed Dunkin' Donuts in terms of amount of courses compared to Dunkin' Donuts in the country. That's impressive.
And we're still probably 100,000 behind McDonald's. But you know what? To surpass Dunkin', that's pretty good. And a nice birdie there from Kale Visca. Terry, you know, I've been covering this tournament in this seat for a long time now, and it is shocking to see there's no wind. I mean, literally no wind. And if you are one of these players, you have got to take advantage of these opening 3 holes, and really all of the open holes that don't have a lot of OB on. Right, of course, holes 15, 17, and 18, as you just mentioned. A lot of score separation there, but with no OB and no wind, you have to birdie.
And some of the other things that you've suggested, thanks to blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store. What are your other keys to success out here?
Well, clearly wind direction's not that important today, but it will probably be a factor. Scramble rate's going to be critical once we get into the woods, and then placement over distance. Distance is not really a big factor here at this event. Being in the perfect place is going to be the key to success.
After the star frame, Macbeth, tee of hole number 2. Almost any shot that remains treeless or tree-free is going to set you up for a birdie here with any players of this caliber.
No doubt about it. And that one middle tree that Jones just went to the right of, you know, you can get aggressive, try to twist one up on the left side of that tree, but really with the way the conditions are, it's basically just throw the power hyzer out there, fade it back to the middle, and then throw that 200 to 250 foot second shot into this green. Beautiful power there and control from Isaac Robinson.
Even with hitting the tree, he's still going to be in great position.
Excuse me, folks, real quick. Hi.
Now Eric Oakley. Saw Bradley Williams not cross and just played it safe. Eric Oakley, however, going for it.
This is wide, but it is starting to swing, Terry. We'll check the skip. Oh, and it doesn't really skip too hard, but inbounds, that's a dangerous putt there for Eric Oakley, back towards the water.
First hole moving into the woods for LaVisca. And what a great second kick. I cannot state that enough. That was a very good second kick there for Kale after connecting with the center tree. And we're going to check out our birdie zone. Thank you to Birdie Pro of where our competitors had landed. Make sure you check them out on Kickstarter as well. That campaign just recently started up. And all 4 of our players well within the birdie zone.
Yeah, best shot there was from Isaac Robinson. Took that big power skip. It has a great angle at the basket. The problem here for KJ is, well, not too much of a problem. He's going to go to the sidearm here, much more open.
This is tracking at the pin as long as it checks up quickly. And just barely inbounds, bringing that sidewalk into play more than he was hoping for. Kale's second.
And this is really, you know, just the epitome of the beast, right? Hole number 4. Kale gets caught up early. Beautiful second shot. He's going to have a chance to head on over and try to chip up and get his par here.
Macbeth also is going to finish right of the pin. This is going to go toward OB. And Brian, can you confirm? It looked like that was tracking toward OB on the right side of 2 for Macbeth.
Yeah, he just sawed that one off, Terry. That was rough, honestly. Wide open shot and just leaked it right, and yeah, he's out of bounds by about 3 feet.
What a mistake
And
by
here's
Macbeth.
another one, Terry. Oh, and very fortunate. That was heading towards out of bounds as well.
I don't feel like I was getting ahead of myself saying how easy this hole is. I mean, that's what the had pretty good drives, and here we have 3 of them flirting with or going OB, one or the other. And a nice little easy backhand for Robinson is going to put him inside the bullseye.
Yeah, glass half full for Macbeth. He is going to have a chance to make his par putt, but still a mistake. Here's that putt from Eric Oakley.
And Oakley cans it. What a finish. Solid bounce back after the double bogey on 15. Oakley cards 12 birdies.
Is that good? From Eric Oakley. Eric has been on tour for several years, obviously tons of skill, and a great opening round to tie him up with Nico LeCastro.
At all for Kevin Jones.
And that's always where we look to, for Kevin to be on point, is from just inside the circle. He obviously has the lovingly nicknamed Jump Putt Jones, but sometimes from 30 to 25 feet, 25, 30 feet, he can miss those putts. So nice putt there from Jones.
Backing it right out of his hand, but still going to be losing a stroke likely to the rest of the card, and more than half the field with that. Bird jams it home for the birdie. Well, lovingly talking a little trash probably there to Isaac, as they're good friends.
I mean, that trash talk won't stop.
No.
That will go all round long.
Justin's approach banks it off the tree, and it checks up pretty quickly. That should be a short putt for Chris. Same hole. We've got Vinny now. Calvin Heimberg for birdie. Count it! Heimberg, center chains from long range. What do you make of that putt, Nate? I mean, the Anheuser out of his hands, but then just still on a rope.
Yeah, it's classic Calvin Heimberg. I mean, he is cracking towards the basket. Great putt from him. Jones on hole number 3. 3 is, even with the decent conditions, that's a nice shot from Jones. With these conditions, 3 is still tricky. You still have to track your tee shot down through this gap if you're going to go with the backhand, and then the pin is up the little slope, and then it's on a flat plateau. So you just have to have that perfect speed and angle control to get it close. See there, Terry, how that hill just not allowing Isaac's disc to climb. He will have a look for birdie.
And this also playing to the elevated basket, as we've seen here the last few years. Does this have enough stability to fight back? Looks like a similar shot, but it does finish at the end, and no problems for Gannon Bird. He's inside the circle. Cale able to pitch out. That's going to be a par save for Cale Laviscon for. This is tracking nicely. And just inside for Macbeth, so not enough power to get around that final tree.
Very good.
So after missing one, he picks up 3 in a row. Take another look at Kelvin Heimberg.
It's just that pop that Calvin gets with his putt, and he put it on an angle there, and it just tracked right at the basket.
Macbeth from 40. So back-to-back missed opportunities here for Macbeth. Looks like the same distance with more elevation for Isaac Robinson.
Want me to go ahead?
Oh, you got, yeah.
You're out. You're probably out. I don't care though. I'll go.
And then you or me again?
Probably me.
Okay.
No problem for Isaac to clean it up. Jones and Burr both off to a hot start, but don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss any of this action from the Waco Annual Charity Open. We'll be back in a moment.
A lot of people say that Ed was the father of disc golf. Well, that's true. He did invent the basket. But Ed did another wonderful thing. Probably his major accomplishment was being the first person to realize that we had a sport on our hands, not just a toy.
In 1976, Steady Ed Hedrick founded the Professional Disc Golf Association with a dream of turning a flying plastic toy into a global sport. Since then, the PDGA, members, players, event directors, and volunteers have worked to realize that dream. From the very first baskets to courses around the world. And yet, it's only the beginning. We're looking to the horizon with even bigger dreams for tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Innova Team Captain Nate Sexton. Welcome to our instructional disc golf series. Maybe even bank over to the right, and that's going to give the putt loft. Slight flex line, so you'll see this come out a little bit higher and give you a variety of different shot shapes. The farthest away player should go first towards the basket.
track. We have Kevin Jones here on the tee of hole number 4.
Hole number 4, a par 4, playing as the 6th most difficult hole today. Placement is so critical here, as we're going to jump over to the putt for Dickerson on 5. Placement so critical here on hole number 4. Jones did get through the initial gap, but he's going to be a little bit right of ideal. This is on the inside. If that tracks and rolls, that's pretty darn good there for Gannon Burr. I would call that perfect, Terry.
Now we'll jump back to Kelvin Heimberg, hole number 5, and he also will match Chris Dickerson's effort, and that he is 4 under through the first 5. This looks pretty good for Macbeth. Don't want to go too far up for Paul. And tell us what they're trying to do as we fly through this one, Nate.
Well, as you can see, that middle tree is the tree they're going to use as a guide. They're going to want to come just inside that, pushing forward. We just saw 2 beautiful shots, one from Macbeth, one from Robinson. As they get around the corner, if you're too far right, as where Jones is, you cannot really have a clean shot to the basket. If you get up here off to the left, that's when the angle opens up over towards the basket. Is in a very tricky spot. The Brazos River is just off to the right. We have seen disc go in the water over the years, so you got to be careful there, but it's all about the tee shot here, putting yourself up on that left side, trying to attack this pin.
That checks up perfectly for Burr.
Yeah, I would say a little bit fortunate actually for Burr there with that checkup. Here's Jones on that right side.
As I came in with too much edge, catches a little bit of it and then rolls out for him, but he'll still have a look for birdie.
Yeah, I think ultimately that was a pretty good shot there from Kevin, just a hair off from flattening out and maybe even skipping even closer to the basket.
And sliding inside bullseye. Nice shot by Kelvin Heimberg on 6. Looks like he's going to be going to 5 under. And we heard it from Isaac, the one tree he had to get past. After setting yourself up so well with that tee shot, that one's going to sting a little to not have thrown a better approach. Kale just trying to ride down the hill, and that's going to match what we see from Kelvin. Even closer. That'll be a tap-in birdie for LaVisca.
So you can see how critical that tee shot was for Macbeth, giving him a completely wide open shot. A little bit of a tough stance, and Macbeth handles it perfectly.
Wearing the caddy bib alongside Paul Macbeth is Billy Engel. He has completed his round. A little bit of a rough go out there today. He shot 3 over. Sporting the bib, but not with the bag on his back. So just off the mark. By maybe Billy carrying around a little too much baggage from his own round earlier today.
Can certainly tell them what not to do. You can see the fear for Jones as he walked up and checked it out is the Brazos River. A big miss here, it can find water. He's got to be careful. Terry, you could see how once he was like, just stop, because you can see how close that water is.
We saw this morning Paige Pierce had carried almost all the way down to water's edge and then ended up making the putt. It was an incredible par save for her, but that water's edge comes up very quickly with that slope. And as they head over to the tee of hole number 5, looks like we've got Eric Oakley in the clubhouse, and we're going to catch up with him now. He's with Hayden Henry.
Oakley, Eric, 10 under par to open Waco.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I have to ask it. Is that good?
I think so. I hope it holds as it's just a solid score. Getting out the gate on this course is kind of is really good. When you have conditions like this, you never know what the next days are going to bring. So this is like a cushion to build on, and you know, I'm just on a cloud. Let's just ride it. It's going to be good.
I speak on the conditions. It's just as ideal as it's probably ever been, or at least in recent memory here at Waco.
I can remember very few rounds that have been like this, but it's like these are the scoring days. Like you got to go get your birdies, and you got to just kind of put down a solid number. So yeah, feels good.
You got a lot of birdies. What was gelling?
Spice sidearm was kind of buckets, got me a lot of birdies there. So putt is feeling good, but I'm still missing putts. So it's continuing to believe that I'm going to make more putts than I'm going to miss. And even if I did miss some today, it didn't really matter because I knew I was just going to step up to the next one and make it. So just kind of having that belief across the board will really do well out here.
Fantastic mentality. I mean, one little blemish on 15, but to bounce back on 16, 17, and 18 to close it out. I mean, how else can you cap out the round right here?
You just got to believe, man. It's good things.
All right, that's Eric Oakley, 10 under par here in Waco.
Thanks for having me.
I don't think we could slap the smile off that man's face. What a day. Nice work by Eric Oakley. Solid opening round. Here's Macbeth trying to play this left side, and this usually kicks to the right just exactly as it was doing so. When you come in on that left side, just the way that slope is angled, it catches it and then often just veers it off to the right. It's a really great play for our competitors. We saw Gannon nick the high left side tree. He's going to have a long look if he wants the birdie. Here's Jones trying to climb up the hill.
It just goes to show you how tricky high-level disc golf can be, because when you're standing on this tee, they're looking at that front side hillside and saying, okay, if I can just blast it into that, kick that upright, and I'm going to be up by the basket. If they fly up on top, you have to have much more speed control, and they're trying to use that hill to their advantage. Unfortunately there for Isaac, just a little too high and left.
And we talked about it earlier, the possibilities of who can win here and what we've seen in the past. When we look at some of our lowest rated players that have then gone on to win this event, you look at Colton Montgomery, rated 10-12 when he took this down. Drew Gibson had that 10-22, but look at Coling in 2018 and 2017, came in with some of the lower ratings in our competitive field and still took it down. Eric Oakley right now also in great position. Comes in with a world ranking of 81st, and he's 10-15 rated. Not Burr's best effort there.
You know, watching him line that shot up, I was wondering how aggressive he was going to be at, and he really wasn't. He just pulled it, and he'll have a little bit left for his par.
I was surprised to not see him in a putting motion or stance. Even if not trying to make it, I just would have expected something of a jump putt, possibly.
Yeah, that's why I was so curious. It was just the way he was lining it up. He went more with the throw than that long jump putt that we're so used to seeing him be so good at.
Middle of circle 2 for Isaac, and same thing we saw back on 3. Left side, but not drawing any metal, and even his miss on the previous hole for birdie was on the left side. So Isaac Robinson not quite on center right now. Jones, on the other hand, dead center.
I mean, with the performance that Jones had in Vegas and the start to today's round, Kevin Jones is 2023 so far looking pretty good. Making those putts with so much force and so much authority. Looking good for Jones. Here's, as you said, long par putt for Burr. Snaps it in there as he usually does.
Off center for McBeth, so that one just slides out. Interestingly enough, in talking to Burr the other night on our podcast, he had brought up a little statistic that he bested McBeth more often than not in 2022. So anytime conversations come up about how well players are doing, and when you see matchups or just, on the card together, yeah, he was very clear about how he had gone up against McBeth in 2022. So I can say he's throwing a little shade. He's just showing up with receipts? Showing the receipts? Is that what they say? We head over to 7. Chris Dickerson throwing his second, just in perfect position. Can he ring it up? James Conrad had found OB, so this is for par on 16.
Yeah, James was all the way down at 10 under, and he did bogey 15. Now this would be a horrible back-to-back bogey. Needs this putt to keep the momentum. Frustration from James Conrad. That's back-to-back bogeys heading into 17.
Yeah, which is crazy because thinking about the tournament director, Ryan Draper, talking about hole 16 and how this could be even an eagle look. And now we've got a tap-in birdie coming from Brody Smith, and that's for him to get to 10 under. So seeing Brody Smith with a perfectly clean scorecard and a solid opening round thus far.
Yeah, and can Smith be the one to surpass that 10 under number? He's going to have 2 chances on 17 and 18. Just a few years ago that we saw Brody Smith make his professional debut here at Waco.
Kevin Jones looking to maybe ring one up here. That one skips short, but Jones in birdie range. Going to skip right toward the pin. Not too far from Jones. Pearson, we saw the approach a moment ago, and very short tap in there on hole 7 to pick up another birdie. Not the worst kick in the world, but certainly a long-range putt for Isaac Robinson coming up. Now at the tee
Hole 8, very similar to hole number 6. Just that straight, little bit of turn. Calvin handles that nicely, but we'll see if that bush does come into play. We should mention GT Hancock is in the clubhouse with a 10 under as well.
That's not it.
Just in a world of hurt over here for Gannon Burr.
This is where that scramble rate, Terry, comes into play. I mean, Gannon needs to find the biggest gap he can and try to just get inside circle 1. I mean, obviously, if he can park it, that'd be great, but just needs a chance here to make a putt.
Finds his line and well executed. Doesn't help by kicking off the tree or a root there, but hole 6, one of the easier holes on the course, averaging 2.53.
Here we go, Brody Smith at that big power sidearm, going to try to put this tee shot in position.
And the roll isn't going to hurt.
No, that's going to be pretty good there for Smith. We'll see if he can dial one up on his second. You know, I was going to mention with that shot that we saw from Burr, similar here for Kale, you just want to give yourself a chance. I mean, these are the best players in the world, you know. If you can get it within 20, they feel confident to make that putt. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to be close. Just like what we just saw there from Kale. Great shot. Didn't put himself in too much trouble. Now birdie putt from Paul Macbeth.
Makes the correct. Now Burr for the second hole in a row is going to have to make a putt just to save par, though. So great save by Gannon. Kevin Jones trying to pick up another one. Kevin Jones moves to 5 under through 6. And Robinson had pitched up to here and will also walk away with a par, as we saw from Gannon.
Terry, that round from tall Paul Oman, 9 under through 10 holes. He started with 8 straight birdies, parred 9 and birdied 10. So great start there for Paul Oman. As I said, Terry, this is kind of the way I felt like it was going to be. A little bit of a jockeying for position. The conditions are so good. A lot of guys with a chance. You know, names, unfamiliar names. GT Hancock. You know, he's in there at 10 under par. You know, throughout the day we've seen there's a guy, Jared Stoll. You know, not an average name that we're used to seeing. He's 9 under par in the clubhouse. So a lot of names up towards the top of the board.
Birdie look from circle 2 for Chris Dickerson, and it looks like that one's going to check up. That's right on the edge of the hillside there. You lose a little bit of sleep from parring hole number 8 on this course.
I never lose sleep, Terry. But you're right. You know, the thing about holes like 6 and 8, they're super challenging, but the distance is so short. And I think ultimately that's what's the most frustrating.
Calvin Heimberg off to a great start, picking up 7 out of the first 8.
I mean, you got to think about Calvin, as we're going to see Paul's tee shot here on 7. If Calvin Heimberg can shoot 50% birdies on these wooded holes. I mean, he's a real danger because he has so much power out in the open with the fair conditions here. Yeah, Calvin is, he's the one to watch at the moment.
And this feels like the aggressive approach, right? Going with the forehand so that you can clear it and go all the way over, and he gets hung up at the last moment. What a shot by Gannon Burr. He's still going to have a long-range putt for eagle.
Yeah, depending on the kick, he could easily have a putt for eagle. And you were absolutely right, Terry. If you go to that sidearm, that's the aggressive shot. This backhand, you are conceding just the chance for birdie. But great shot there from Burr.
We're going to take another look. This is the aggressive play I just mentioned. Call this a patented sidearm here by Gannon Burr. Getting it to flip up, hit through the gap, and then continues to carry all the way down. Had it not caught that limb, it would have been even close. If anyone's getting close to your intellectual property, stick the guys over at Sunstein on them. They'll protect you. Whether that's copyright, any other intellectual property, make sure you reach out to them. They can help you out at sunsteinlaw.com.
The one thing I noticed there in that slow-mo is that he did kick forward and to the right, so a great chance for Gannon Burr. Here's that tee shot from Smith. Great position. Oh, and he likes this one, Terry.
That's tracking.
It's got to sit.
Oh, it's gonna.
Very close. Brody Smith. That was an aggressive play.
In a moment, we'll get a little bit of an assessment from Brian Earhart as to what Gannon's going to be left with. Watching KJ make light work of this, that's going to check up. Brian, how clean is the look that Gannon's going to have for an eagle?
I mean, it's super solid. It's at the bottom of the creek. He's just outside C1. I would say he's got about a 40-foot uphill look at the basket. Great shot.
Thank you, Brian. And exactly as I thought, Terry, it did kick forward and to the right. So it'll be an uphill green light putt for Gannon Burr. Just a standard shot there from Isaac. And now Macbeth. This is going to be like a long jump throw here for Macbeth, a chance to make this.
Yeah, you certainly can't rule an eagle out for this either. Just missing by inches. Solid bid by Macbeth. He'll have a tap-in birdie.
You know, we call it a patented sidearm there for Gannon Burr. I really think it's more about talking about how his game is continuing to get better and to continuing to develop. This hole's 429 feet. He decides to go with the power flex sidearm. That is going to have a payoff here with a look at eagle.
Just one or two limbs seem to still obstruct his look, though. Looks like, well, contemplating if he needs to take a knee or not to avoid those limbs. That close, Nate, that close to the eagle.
Just tap in town for this group.
Population feature card.
4.
Here we go. Kelvin Heimberg now. Tee of 9.
9 is so tricky. Calvin. Oh, boy. Yep. Early tree, kicks left. He is going to be scrambling from that point forward. There's Conrad on 17.
This is a birdie look from circle 2. And the putter finds the bottom of the basket. Nice bounce back after taking back on 15 and 16. James Conrad comes back from circle 2 to collect the birdie.
Yeah, and Conrad also had that bogey on 9. So he's had 3 bogeys, and he's still at 9 under par.
And he's only had 2 pars on the day.
Crazy.
And also on 17 now, Brody Smith. This is for the outright lead. Oh, and just an inch or 2 short.
Is one that just, yep, chew on the mini. That's so frustrating. Literal inches away from the birdie. He'll still have a chance over there on 18 if he wants to go for it.
Certainly has the power for it. Here's Kevin Jones on 8. He's going to scoot just inside the circle.
James Proctor officially in at 10 under par as well. His round is now final. Birdied 18 to get to that 10 under par.
Great flip up here by McBeth. That's going to check up right next to the pin.
Just 213 feet.
I could reach this one, Nate. And Gannon trying to pull back and maybe does so too much. Pull to the right, but it does stay up on top.
Okay, so if you're Calvin Heimberg here, just a shot to get back in the fairway is really all he needs. Something down in that low area, kind of center of your screen. It'll all depend on the lie there for Calvin if he can try to get up and down.
Nice recovery for Isaac Robinson. That'll give him a look to save the par, which really is a phrase you don't want to have me even saying, though, when you're out here on hole 8. There's a chance to save par, but after that tee shot, that's what he's got. It appears that he's going to give this one a run. He's at least taking the time to do so.
Yeah, he's pushed now official distance 70 feet to the pin. And misses it on the proper side. Short left is the spot to miss it, and he does that nicely. So tap with par for Burr.
Hole 18 with James Conrad.
This looks a little inside, Terry, and a little high. Let's see if it's got the distance.
I worry it's short. Yeah, the nose was just up too much, and that's exactly what you were calling.
Yep, it was just a little inside of where he wanted. He wants to drift it lower and off to the right.
Automatic for Jones. He'll move to 7 under through 8.
Kevin just looks so solid today, Terry.
As expected from McBeth, he'll walk away with a birdie. And with that, we're going to head to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Go long. Whoa.
Hey, over here.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like they can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
Disc Golf Pro Tour All-Star Ace. Incredible shot by Sarah Holcomb.
Disc golf education is important because it prolongs the length of our sport and the popularity of our sport, and the most receiving of disc golf is children. So if we get that introduced to them young, they might grow up to be the next Paul Macbeth or the next Paige Pierce, and we don't know it.
Air Spectrum is Prodigy's new line of premium lightweight discs in the mid-range, fairway, and distance driver models. You can now get beautiful preferred weight. Bag one today at prodigydisc.com.
Latitude 64's boys down here just finished checking out the telemetry you have, and everything is A-OK.
Hey, Jonathan, catch. Huh?
Jonathan, we're getting an anomalous critical failure on your suit. Could you please confirm status?
Sorry, man.
And welcome back. There's the green of 9. Now we're back on the tee with Kevin Jones. Asking for just to push left a little.
Yeah, he needed just a few more feet of drift on that one, and he would have found the bottom of the fairway there, the low point of this fairway. The low point of this fairway is where the hole turns to the right, heads over towards the basket.
Oh my gosh, get past it.
Beth finding an early tree. Hole 9, the second most difficult hole today for the guys. Oh, and there's that low point of the fairway, Terry.
Good reaction off the hillside, you're saying?
Yep. So 18% birdies and 41% bogey or worse here on 9.
And a good second or third kick, whichever it
or
was.
Fourth.
Yeah, whichever it was, to keep him where he was. That was very good for him. Here's Brody Smith with his second on 18. He was wide and clear after going over the water, but looks like he's just going to play it for the par.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in the picture-in-picture, his shot there, Terry, and I think a little bit of that is probably watching James Conrad, who he's playing with, coming up just short, having to then deal with whatever that is, which is a really tough even bogey if you find yourself short. So I think a smart move there from Smith. Just take the easy par. He's in at 10 under. You know, as much as you don't want to allow your fellow competitors to affect what you do, it's impossible to not, especially in a hole like 18 that is kind of all or nothing if you really want to go at that pin.
Yeah, if you were on the fence about maybe going after it and then you see someone else throw in, it's easy, like you were saying, to let it affect you and maybe second guess what you were going to do. And Brody Smith already with this incredible round going, 10 under, trying to get in the clubhouse. That should secure him a spot on either the second or third card. Third card at worst, I would say second card at best. We'll see what other scores are yet to come in.
And actually, Terry, they gave James Conrad the mark over on the green side of the fairway there on 18, and he was able to well, at least he's going to have that mark at this moment.
That high.
Just launching it up there. We didn't hear anything. Brian, can you tell us about that Macbeth in a moment?
Yeah, that was
James Conrad. Nate, you said. Oh, Conrad with a slip.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I would call this a fortunate mark here for Conrad because it's tough to tell exactly, but the spotter gave him the mark here, and it's a tough stance, but very makeable par putt.
Now we're going to see Kevin Jones do what Macbeth was attempting. Starting to curl. Does it sit down? Still well inside the circle.
And that's the advantage of getting to that low corner position here on 9. Back to Conrad. All right. Little topsy-turvy, and it's a par for James Conrad. Topsy-turvy round.
How fortunate. Yeah, that was only his third par of the round. How fortunate that he was given that spot on that side. So James Conrad takes advantage, walks away with the par. Now we've got Calvin Heimberg on the tee at 10.
Yeah, so Calvin did bogey on 9.
A tree kick not doing him any favors. Now, Brian, can we get an assessment from what we're seeing? If you've watched or saw where Kevin Jones came down along with Paul Macbeth, can you assess those shots?
Yeah, I mean, Terry, the right side just leading up to the basket is so thick, and there's so many little vines and thorn bushes. It is an awful place to put your drive, and you're just certainly taking an extra stroke. There's not really a way to get up and down from there. I also haven't really seen that spike forehand be successful for really anybody from that position. So interesting to see Paul and Kevin try the same thing and also have the same result off to the right.
Do they have a look from where they're at? Are they going to be able to make a putt from there?
It would be really challenging to put one inside circle 1. That's all I can really say.
All right, now we're seeing Paul Macbeth try and grab his position, and he's still looking up, which is not a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, obviously, we're talking about just, you know, even trying to get himself into a position where he can make bogey. You know, I think the conversation now is avoiding double bogey for Macbeth.
Completely repositioning himself and his bag. Trying to find the right lie or line. It sounded like a nick or a kick off an early tree, so the trouble continues here for Macbeth, and Kevin Jones doesn't look much better. He figures that out. Looks like we're going to jump over to Cale LaVisca throwing his second on 10.
Cale bogeyed 9 to have a 4 under front 9. Nice shot there from Cale.
Yeah, should have quickly erased the bogey on the previous hole. Back with Jones.
Yeah, it just goes to show you here, Terry, on hole number 9, how critical a fairway hit is. And the aggressiveness of these players off their second shots have put them in a position to not only not be able to make par, but potentially make even worse. So critical shot here from Jones.
So that will be to 8 meters. A little bit of work left for Jones. Dickerson throwing his second on hole 10.
Chris Dickerson also had a 4 under front 9.
That went from looking like such a good run to now having trouble on the comeback putt. That's going to be at least obstructed in his stance, if not also within his throwing lane. Very impressive attempt from Macbeth. Kelvin had the late tree kick that pushed him to this left side. Looks like he still has a lane. And that's going to be inside the circle.
Yeah, to just miss that last big tree. Critical there for Calvin. Edge of circle. Here is now Kevin Jones, as you said, about that 8-meter spot. And that's the first big mistake we've seen from Kevin.
I can go if you want to take your time. Go for it.
I believe you said hole 9 plays as the second most difficult. And we're
hole number 12 is the most difficult hole in the course.
Gannon Burr, meanwhile, trying to separate himself from the card on this hole. And that's exactly what I was worried about. Isaac, who had gone deep, finds himself in the rough and then doesn't convert on the putt. And any kind of momentum or any kind of good vibes that were on this card have all been completely drained on hole number 9. Just left at the bottom of the valley. right, one of our co-leaders right now is Brody Smith. He's in the clubhouse with Hayden Henry.
All right, checking in with Brody Smith. Brody, 10 under par round today. How you feel overall?
I'm shocked that I'm talking to you guys this early in the season. I was not expecting to have any sort of interviews like this, but you know, today went well. No expectations really coming into it, but I was able to kind of get up and down when I had some errant tee shots out there. My putting was pretty solid. I missed that putt on 17. I felt like I threw a pretty good shot into that green. Kind of got an unfortunate roll and then missed the putt there, but it was a pretty clean round, you know, no bogeys, so can't complain out here at Waco.
Ideal conditions out here, kind of unheard of a little bit at Waco. So how's the course playing? We're seeing guys race off to hard starts and then kind of not stalling, but hitting that 10 mark, and that's been the mark so far.
I mean, I think that's kind of what this course sets up for. The front 9, you kind of know you got to get out quick. The back 9, there's a lot more trickier holes that you can kind of take some numbers on as well, and the birdies aren't as easy, obviously. With the wind being down as it was today, I'm not shocked. I thought actually the leader was probably going to be 12 or 11 under after the first round. So we'll see. There's still some guys obviously on the course to maybe get there. But yeah, obviously with the wind down, you can kind of attack some of these baskets a little bit more.
3 years ago, you started your disc golf pro tour career right here in Waco. So what is it like coming back to this venue and kind of reflecting on the 3 years? Has it been a fast one, slow one?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the first tournament I played in front of spectators and fans and cameras and everything, and obviously it's probably more on the difficult side of tournaments you could have done that for, but I love it. I mean, the crowds here are great. I think they put on a great tournament, and just the course is so unique compared to anything we play all season, so I obviously really look forward to coming back to Waco every year.
Talk a little bit quickly about your off season. Obviously focusing on the more physical side of it. Sounds like shifting back to the disc golf side. So how has what you've done this off season shown up so far on the courses so far?
Yeah, this off season was all about like long-term goals. I could have spent the off season practicing disc golf and getting better in certain areas, but my body was not in good shape, and I want to be able to play this sport at a high level for multiple years. And I had to take that decision of no disc golf. I really didn't throw more than maybe 100 shots all off season, and I just focused on getting in the gym, lifting, running, getting my diet back, my nutrition. I'd lost about over 45 pounds at this point, and body's starting to feel a little bit better, but you know, my back's been causing a lot of problems. Now that I don't have the weight on, it's not as bad, but that's still something I kind of have to worry about. So as far as how much practice I can do in disc golf right now, it's very minimal. So to me, it's more, you know, that's why I said I was shocked to be here, because, you know, I've joked these last couple of events of like missing cut and just trying to show up and maybe make cash, because I'm not really having any expectations. But I'm looking long term, and that's my goal, is to try to be really good in a year, 2 years from now. And I think I'm in a good spot to have that be a possibility.
All right, in the short term, you're right in the mix after one. What needs to happen tomorrow to keep this going?
You know, I mean, I'm just going to go out and do the same thing. I think I visualized my shots really well today. That was one thing that I struggled with Vegas. I kind of stepped up and took some shots for granted today. I kind of went through everything. Get a little bit putting in tonight, get that putter feeling good again, and then we'll see if the wind's down tomorrow, anything can happen.
Nice. All right, that's Brody Smith right here in the mix after one in Waco.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, Brody and Hayden, as we're seeing Kelvin Heimberg tee off on 11. And he's going to still be at the bottom of the hill looking up for the birdie. And, you know, Brody, one of the big takeaways I heard there is he talked about what he thought scores might look like. We're going to keep our eye, of course, on Paul Oman, who's trying to get past that 10 under barrier. Seems like there's a little bit of a force field around it currently. What am I counting? 6 guys at 10 under. Paul trying to pull out in front of all of them.
Well, and a lot of it is that 15 through 18 run. I mean, 16 is one of the easiest holes in the course, but 15, 17, and 18, all huge scoring separators. Big mistakes and birdies can happen there. So not surprised. Let's see what Oman can do.
First, we're back with Gannon.
I think one of the biggest mistakes at Waco on the wooded holes and when they're par fours is trying to make birdies out of position. I think you have to just try to put yourself back in the fairway and make good shots to save these pars. We saw it on 9. We're seeing a little bit of that here on number 10. Let's shoot to 11 here with Calvin to keep the birdie train rolling. 27-footer here for Calvin Heimberg.
Buckets, as Heimberg would say.
You think did it go under this?
Yes.
Okay. For some reason I thought it was
It
like.
might be a little bit closer.
Yeah,
like
for
this
some
side.
reason I thought it was like
I
that
think it
side,
bounced
but
off and ricocheted left.
really not.
If you want to take like 2 steps closer,
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
2 meters or 2 steps?
2 steps, 2 full steps. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Ah.
Looks like Paul Oman, who we were just talking about, had just
These are big shoes,
thrown
man.
out of bounds.
Yeah, this
Here
is a
on
big
14.
mistake on 14 because, again, 15 super challenging and needs to make this putt to keep the momentum.
That Oman, nice, keeping it at 10 under.
That is fantastic from Paul Oman, making the adjustment, dealing with the crossbar that was right in front of him, and beautiful effort.
Gannon's third. Oh, off the chains. And thank goodness it hit those. Otherwise, it was going to go 60 deep of the basket. Instead, it's only about 25. Burr, a forehand rocket to the pin.
And it was a rocket, Terry. I mean, he did overplay this a little bit, but man, the basket getting in the way, and what an incredible shot, just inches away from making birdie.
That would have been as long as his second shot was.
No doubt.
Shot.
Beth?
Just wants that to check up, and it's going to do just that.
Beautiful control from that stance for Paul Macbeth. We did see the tee shot here from Isaac just find its way off the fairway.
That's still going to be out of position. He's not going to have a clean look at the basket.
And, you know, for Isaac Robinson, he has just been that much off. And it's a rough round so far for Isaac. Here's Big Germ, 2-time champion of Waco.
This a crucial hole in one of those, as we saw it in a playoff. See just all the energy completely void in Kevin Jones at the moment.
Yeah, just a little dejected there for Kevin Jones. Got to stick with it. Still a lot of great chances for birdie.
Here's Oman's tee shot on 15.
15 playing is the third most difficult hole. 558. It's a par 3. And It has bounced. Oh, just barely over the fence there, Terry. 15 birdied, 0% of the time today. So very difficult par 3. More of a par 3.5, I would say. Presnell sneaking in there. He's played 14 holes at 9 down.
Online the whole way for Burr. He's going to be 6 under through 10. We head over to 11. What do they have to do here, Nate?
Well, hole 11 pretty much straight away. Not too tight off the tee. The critical aspect here on 11 is the green. You have this first tree we're going to see right in the middle of our fairway. Got to avoid that one, obviously. The question is how are you going to play it? Are you going to try to do something sneaky to the left? That's tough. If you're going to go to the right, you have to just come in front of those trees and just hit this little front uphill side slope and keep it up close to this basket. Hole number 11, par 3, just 279. It's a mid-range for these players. 42% of the field have taken birdie here on hole number 11. Excuse me, did I say hole 9? Either way. It's hole 11. It's par 3, 279.
Almost, but not quite the inverse of what we see on 5, in that it plays up and to the right.
Yeah.
In a sense, this one playing kind of with the opposite direction.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not sure if Macbeth was playing for that kind of shot or not, but either way, great speed control. He'll have an uphill birdie look. This is Burr playing to the left side of that tree as well. Oh, and had he just made it up and over that side slope, he might have stayed close, but the angle and the spin taking him into the woods.
Wasn't a nice reaction.
Jones trying to climb up the hill with the forehand spin. I was just about to say, if this stays clean, it's going to be right next to the pin, but catches one of those last guardian trees.
To be fair to Isaac Robinson, I mean, he pretty much needs to play perfect from here to the finish if he wants to even be a factor in this tournament at all.
So many birdies and scoring opportunities, especially on these very calm conditions that we've been talking about throughout the day. Now we're back with Paul Oman. Should be a routine up and down for Oman. Stands still inside the bullseye. Coling just a few feet from him. So I'm going to throw it out to Brian. As we're watching them navigate through this relatively narrow fairway, has there been any hiccups or challenges with the crowd or the gallery all trying to navigate around out there, Brian?
Well, currently on Friday, it's going well so far. Obviously, a course like Waco is not easy to keep everybody in these wooded holes in the back, but surprisingly, the crowd control crew and the volunteers have done a fantastic job, and I haven't seen a single problem yet. I mean, come Saturday and Sunday, that might be a different story, but we'll just have to see.
Appreciate it, Brian. And yeah, I guess that's such a great point, is we've got a great Friday crowd. When this thing doubles or triples over the next couple of days, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get through there. And here's Jones. Doesn't quite answer with a birdie of his own.
Sit. Stop.
And from circle 2 putt to remain in circle 2 after that rolls back. Basically the worst reaction he could have gotten other than rolling back to exactly where he was just standing. And that is the #1 problem here with hole number 11 is no putt is safe. Incredible poise by that young man.
And no basket is safe when it comes to Gannon Burr. Beautiful kind of poise in that scenario. Certainly frustrated with the rollaway, but able to kind of just center himself and execute that beautiful putt.
Yeah, the fact that he could step back up and not let it fluster him too much of the rollaway he just got. So impressive.
And such a confidence boost, you know, for him. Yeah, it wasn't the birdie, but he made the.
And this is for birdie at circle's edge.
This is just a very Macbeth round. It's not perfect, but he's never, ever out of it. And he can flip the switch here very, very quickly. And, you know, obviously we have the very difficult hole number 12 coming up. But once we get to 13, then it opens back up into those wide open fairways, and we can find a little confidence, might be able to put something together.
Awkward stance for Kevin Jones. There's going to be a long break because they're standing on the tee of hole number 12. We're going to be right back after a word from these sponsors.
Are you sick and tired of browsing through countless online stores for your disc golf equipment only to come up empty-handed? Look no farther. At Tintin Discs, we have a vast selection with pictures of each disc so you can find the exact one you need. We offer a wide variety of top quality brands at affordable prices, including discs, bags, accessories, and much more.
It's always so exciting when we get new plastics of the Passion, but I always end up falling back on the stock ones. And I like to say its closest counterpart is the Buzz. I think my absolute favorite way to throw it is dead straight and just watch the beauty of a straight flight. They've become a staple in the Discraft lineup and also in people's bags, and to know that people everywhere are enjoying the Passion as much as I am, that's just really exciting for me.
Whether you're out playing a tournament or just hanging out with friends, don't let your grip cost you strokes out on the disc golf course. When you have a better grip on your discs, you have the confidence to perform your best with each throw and every putt. Whale sacks are whale-shaped grip bags designed to dry your hands so you can trust that you have the best grip on your disc. Get a whale sack, because better grip means better confidence.
I just think the plastic is very premium. It's a high quality material. The way the disc feels in my hand.
I think it's the quality of plastic.
It's unlike any other plastic that you'll find in the industry.
The quality is better than any other company out there.
Again, just consistent plastic. It's something I can consistently trust on every single throw.
There's so many discs to choose from, and I guarantee if you tried every disc in the lineup, you're gonna wanna put multiple discs in your bag.
It's extremely high quality. You can only say so much, they have to eventually just try it themselves and see.
Air Spectrum is Prodigy's new line of premium lightweight discs in the mid-range, fairway, and distance driver models. You can now get beautiful bursts of color no matter your preferred weight. Bag one today at prodigydisc.com.
And welcome back. We're with Calvin Heimberg. We are in the fairway of hole number 12.
This is Calvin's third shot. Had some trouble off the tee. And a late tree kick, but he's up on the upper level. Long chance of a par look here for Calvin. 12 is such a tough hole. Bending from left to right the entire way until the very end of the fairway when it bounces back uphill and goes back to the left.
A big thanks to our friends over at Flight Factory. Find them at flightfactorydisc.com. Those overhead shots.
There was this one year though that there was a mistake in the book, and I think you were there with me in the car, and it said Mando right of tree, and nobody noticed it.
Just in the book. So
everybody missed a Mando. I was down to let everybody miss the Mando.
Everyone missed, yeah. And then just go right.
But they're like, yeah, well, obviously the intention of the rule.
Well, obviously, you would have put it correct. You would have put it correct.
That's a big typo there.
As you can see, not missing any shots from our final feature card as they're hanging out on the tee. I think I spot a Chris Dickerson camouflaged in there somewhere.
Yeah, Chris is off the fairway here after 2 throws. This is going to be his third shot. Just 6% of the field has taken birdie here on hole number 12. What an incredible shot from Chris Dickerson, going with an overhand of some sort, able to actually get it to flip over and land on its back with just with a few feet of the basket.
Now up ahead on 16, we got Andrew Presnell.
Presnell,
his second.
Yeah, 9 under par for Presnell. Well, we'll go ahead and call it 10 under par, Terry. That looks pretty good.
pretty close to perfect for Macbeth on that tee shot.
Yeah, it is. Really anything at the bottom of the hill here in the middle of the fairway is just number one. That's where you want to be. The challenge, and Isaac, again, just the angle control from Robinson has been the challenge today so far. But he'll be off on the left. Here's Calvin for his par putt up on the green.
So as you were talking about, just such a small percentage of players capitalizing with a birdie, seeing 37% at bogey or worse. Calvin, the next victim.
So good shot there in the middle for Burr as well. Here's up on the green. This is Kale Laviska for birdie. Man, that would have been such a good birdie there for Kale.
You got to wonder when you get up to a green on a hole like that that's so difficult to get, do you almost out of you're so excited about being one of the few to get the birdie.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us regular people, Terry, that's true. But I mean, the best players in the world, that's certainly what they're hoping to do. But let's take a look at hole number 12, 609 feet. It's par 4, as I said, playing as the hardest hole today at the Waco Annual Charity Open. Tee shot, left to right, downhill. You want to try to get around the corner. We saw the sidearm as a very effective play to keep it in the middle of the fairway. From Robinson's perspective, that's where he had too much angle and cut and rolled. There is a mandatory right there on the corner, and that's a tricky mandatory. Once you get into the fairway, it's back uphill. And Terry, this is where you're trying to twist it off the left side, flexing it back as you're going back uphill. I think the second shot on 12 is arguably one of the hardest shots on the tour as far as individual shots that's required. Tough hole, number 12.
Yeah, and that's only if you're in a position to make the shot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you have to first throw the good tee shot, as you're saying. Luke Humphreys in.
A 5-foot birdie putt for Humphreys.
I guess he took care of that second shot, as you were calling for, and they're waiting for them to clear out, as they've just done. And now Isaac Robinson looking to throw his second.
And if you're Isaac, just getting to the bottom of that slope is a good shot.
Looks like it was caught up.
Again, the key to success here at Waco in these wooded holes is placement over power. What I've noticed when we've seen these guys bogey, they're trying to overpower these second shots. Finding the proper placement is more critical than getting way up the fairway. Not horrible from Jones. He'll be on the left side, but should be able to have some sort of jump. A little tricky look from over there.
Both Macbeth and Burr, really good positions here. And he's pulled it inside. Does he get away with it?
Bro, are you kidding me?
Oh, and the little kick, Terry.
Burr calling him out, saying, "Are you kidding me?" Everybody knew he missed his line, but he's going to get away with it. And Big Germ's drive on 16 lands here. So this is actually an eagle bid if he wants it. And it's going to be a slam dunk birdie. And that will put him to 10 under.
Can one of those three guys, Presnell, and just an unfortunate hit there for Gannon Burr and a roll to boot. That's going to be a tough up and down for Gannon. Unfortunate there, but can one of those three guys in that group, Presnell, Coling, or Omen, can they break the 10 under mark? Not only have we seen nobody get to 11 under, in the clubhouse, we haven't seen anybody break through past 10 under to get to 11 at any point of their round. We'll see.
Well, pretty soon we're going to start to have to talk about the people who aren't at 10 under par as
That's
opposed
true.
to the people who are. Seems like so many of them. Here's Andrew Presnell on 17.
Unbelievable.
And what a gutsy play to go with the roller.
That tree might have gotten him, though. It went down.
We're going to need a flag relay here.
Yeah, look at these two guys. It's a red flag for Presnell.
Red.
Gutsy play to go roller.
I like the creativity. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay off.
I mean, let's put it this way. In a windy, on a windy day, you're not doing that.
You're not even thinking about it. Unless it happens by accident.
True.
You're trying to turn
big
something
headwind,
over.
and there it goes.
Noah Meinsma with the forehand. And that will be safe and right at the edge of the corner there.
A blast of a tee shot here on 13 from Calvin can give him a chance at an eagle, but it's got to stay clean. A lot of trees on the left side of the fairway here.
Oh, this is turned over hard right.
Will it flex, Terry?
Wow, it does give him a long look, almost bringing the sidewalk into play over there near the restrooms. What a drive by Heimberg.
Can we say circle two? I don't know.
It might be close. Here's Omen. Trying to make the bend on 17. And great position for Paul Omen.
Yeah, the only challenge for Omen will be the lack of a bigger sidearm. You know, it's a tough second shot with a backhand there. He might be able to throw the sidearm, but either way, great tee shot from Omen.
We don't see a lot of sidearms from him. So
I know, I just, you know, I don't want to overspeak if he's been working on it or something. I don't know, but let's put it this way. Sidearm would be ideal from that position.
What a terrible roll away that Gannon Burr got after clipping those high branches. Solid recovery. That's going to be a par.
Yeah, very nice recovery.
Well, he's got long legs, so he got up to this drive pretty quickly. He's ready to go with his second shot.
So OB left for Omen. That's the avoid. You got to avoid that. "20 feet right of this basket is a great position for Omen here.
Could have done without the clipping. I'm not sure. But he's safe, and he has a long look at the birdie. Good position still. Here's Kevin Jones with a jumper. Oh, left side corner pocket. Jones rings it up.
Jump putt Jones. That's going to be some great momentum as he heads out of the woods over there to 13. Beautiful shot from Kevin. Here's the catch cam look.
As we roll that Zuka replay, Jones gets it to curl in off that left side inner basket.
I mean, it was really just 3 holes that we've seen Jones be lackluster. Other than that, he's back on point. Macbeth is going to get the birdie as well. Macbeth he's just so sneaky. He's at 7. He's at 7 down, and he has looked horrible.
Dickerson. Easy approach for him on 13. That'll be a tap-in birdie.
Now a guy who does have a sidearm on 17, Big Germ. Does it have the stability, Terry?
I like where it's coming in. I do not believe there's a line painted, so I'm going to go ahead and say that should be in bounds.
He almost hit a stick and kicked out of bounds. Oh, Germ will have a birdie. look to get to 11.
Now LaVisca trying to put himself into position for birdie on 13. That should be a birdie on his scorecard. Kale, solid approach.
13 is the second easiest hole today for our competitors. 72% have taken birdie over there on 13. Juxtapose that to number 17, which is the 5th most difficult today. Just 28% have taken birdie. Here for Presnell to try to get up and down to save his par.
Yeah, you turn this over too much, you find OB on the right. You don't turn it over enough, you're OB in the water.
I think he's got the middle of that, Terry.
He does. Oh! And then it catches edge. Just things so close to hitting the stanchion just underneath the basket, which would have stopped it. Use it as a backdrop. Now, Heimberg for eagle.
Man, Presnell had the the location, just the wrong angle and right out of bounds.
Paul Oman for birdie on 17.
So Big Germ's going to be the only one to have a chance to get to that 11 under par mark. Yeah, it's an interesting storyline, Terry, with Big Germ. Chance to maybe take the lead, the outright lead here. I mean, he is the 2-time champion, but we haven't seen him really play at that super high level. He was even injured in Vegas. So nice to see Big Germ kind of swinging back here.
Yeah, and before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we can start thinking about Adam Hammes, who's now getting into the conversation. He's also at 10 under.
Could you imagine if this was a Sunday? Oh.
We're going to give our producers a heart attack.
Oh, no. Macbeth on the second easiest hole in the course goes OB left.
So Big Germ, who was inbounds, the birdie look, you called it.
He cannot short arm this. And that's exactly what he did. That is exactly what he did. He short armed that. He needed to reach and extend. It's going to be just a par for Big Germ.
So he doesn't get to 11. Kale tracking to the pin. That's going to check up right next to it. Light work for LaVisca.
Kevin Jones, beautiful power sidearm.
Dickerson on the high right side of 14. He'll have a putt from circle 2.
All these guys at 6 under par as well. They need, like you got Burr at 6. Dickerson and LaVisca were at 6. They need to start making some moves here.
Good shot though. Come on, it's an 80 probably. It really is me.
Heimberg also going for the forehand. He's going to be in a similar territory to, actually gets past where we just saw Chris Dickerson. So he's inside the circle. Light wind at the green. Paul Oman, tee of 18.
Paul does have the power. This is that safer side though, Terry. Going high right.
Start carrying left now.
You know, the difference between what we saw earlier from James Conrad. Conrad was inside high, ultimately ends up short. Omen safely in bounds.
Dickerson from about 42 feet. It's low out of his hand, so not able to collect the birdie on 13. Correction, 14. That's one of the easier ones to get, so missed opportunity for Dickerson. Back with Heimberg.
Now Calvin does have the power over there on 15 to go for it. We'll see if he decides to get aggressive, which I would expect him to do. Here's Macbeth after the out-of-bounds tee shot.
No, sit down.
Macbeth doesn't like this either. He's going to be left just inside the circle, but for one of the easiest holes on the course, he is working hard for at best a par. Should be an easy up and down for KJ.
Yeah,
And
just
it'll be
100,
that.
140 feet. That's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah, spins it in.
Just to think that that guy's 40.
Not yet. Not yet. He's only
Well,
39.
will be.
He's only 39. That's
He's
all
a-
that beautiful,
He's a
youthful
beautiful
energy.
40.
Oh,
Uh-oh. This can go OB right, Terry.
That's where it's headed. And not even close, unless it gets some kind of crazy kickback, and Germ's going to take it. He has to.
Obviously, he has to, but that's a difficult upshot from over there, too.
Wow. Fortunate break, though, that he's in bounds after hitting the trees on that deep side. Somehow it carries back out into the fairway for Big Germ, so he's safe.
Yeah, a little bit of nerves there for Big Germ. The short arm putt on 17 and then the overturn on 18. It's going to be a tough up and down. This is a long look at eagle.
Brian, I'm going to throw it out to you. What is going on with Paul Macbeth here on hole 13?
The wind is pushing a little bit right to left. It's still about 5, maybe 10 at some points miles an hour. But that second shot from Paul, it was just, I hate to poke at him, but that was a little lazy, honestly. In the moment it came out of his hand, he just, you knew he didn't like it. But, I mean, the score he's at is pretty solid, and he has a lot of room to go, so we'll see.
Appreciate it, Brian, as we're watching all the other rookie birdies tap in here. And you said, of course, Kelvin has the power here. What's maybe even more special about Kelvin, he doesn't need to throw a flex. He doesn't need to flirt with the road. He doesn't need to put it out over the fence on the right side. You know Kelvin has the line drive power to put it here.
Yeah, it's that low power, just like you said, that line drive power. And boy, he goes high here, Terry.
Yeah, he's going to let this play out, but no threat of out of bounds at least.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Calvin Heimberg in the circle, 558 feet.
Now, this is an interesting thing. He goes high to control the distance actually back. Incredible shot from Calvin.
I'd go ahead and call that spicy, thanks to our friends over at the Halal Guys.
Still waiting for that delivery, Terry.
I'm ready. I am ready as we're rounding out our day number 1 here at the Waco Annual Charity Open. Calvin Heimberg put some sauce on that one.
Seriously, that was so high level from Calvin Heimberg. To go a little bit high, beautiful shot there from Kevin Jones. To go a little bit high, and that higher launch angle actually slows the disc down on the hyzer finish and inside the circle. It's going to be close to OB.
Getting a clap, so we're going to
Either
have
that guy's a fan of somebody else, or,
yeah.
or he's in bounds.
And as you said, not going to be an easy approach necessarily for Big Germ. He's clearly just going to try and put it next to the basket and walk away with the par.
This is
and
what
then
happens.
He made the worst mistake ever. What is he doing? Is he going to catch another break and possibly stay in?
No, he's OB. That was OB.
Germ, no.
Horrible shot from Big Germ.
Oh, coming up just short. Should get back on track with a birdie there. Yeah, Germ just threw that one away. Like that was.
I was just about to say, the mistake is going obviously in the water. The spot to be is 15 feet right.
Oh, and Paul doesn't convert.
Just that close to 11 under. Oh, what a run from Paul. Big Germ's going to now have to make this putt for par.
Okay, this is a par. This is a par 3 for the men. It is a par 4 for the women.
Thank you. My mistake. Yes, this will be for bogey for Big Germ. And not an easy putt for Germ either. The nerves are still there. Again, cannot short arm this putt. It is a little bit of a tailwind. Need to extend into the basket.
And clearly somewhat rattled as Big Germ isn't able to convert there.
The addition of that small planted tree here on 14 has been huge because the players don't just have that easy sidearm. They have to kind of be a little bit more tricky, and it's working.
Beth able to capitalize on one of the easier holes. Robinson in for birdie. Having a little bit of a rough go here, and as we're seeing by the scores, by so many, not just 1 or 2 or 3 that are out in front at that 10 under mark. We're seeing nearly a dozen people around that 9 and 10 mark.
I mean, he's not executing today. And quickly, Terry, not to cut you off, but actually Big Germ was out of bounds off the tee and went on to take a 7, which he must make this putt for this. Oh no, that was for the 6.
Oh, Big Germ just not able to close it out.
Oh.
Just moments ago, we were talking about him as a co-leader. And Calvin Heimberg can become the first birdie of the day on 15. Oh, and that close, it slides out for Heimberg. It looks so good, and this just slides out on the right side, just an inch or 2 right. That hurts. I mean, you can't be mad that it fell out. Of course, you're a little disappointed, but that was right side chain. Calvin, so close.
Not even phased.
No.
Not even phased.
And if we asked him about it right now and said, what about that putt? He's like, it was right. he would own up to it.
I love it.
So close, though.
Adam Hammis, 10 under, does have one of the easiest holes in the course, 16, still to play. So a chance to finally see an 11 under next to somebody's name. But we'll see live here on 15. The tee shot of Kevin Jones, just going to lay it up. And if you're new to Waco and you haven't watched the tournament before, that corral, that metal corral is out of bounds. That's why you're seeing the players laying up short. Am I incorrect on that, Terry?
Yeah, that is, it looks like it would be or play as such, but that's actually totally inbounds.
That's just so interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you, Terry. Well, either way.
Yeah, there's so many things you're thinking about out here because, as you said, something that flexes out too early finds the road. You put too much on it, you could easily go OB over the fence on the right. But that actual metal framed area is completely in play.
Yeah,
yes.
Thank you, Terry.
It feels like it would be out of play, just the way it's kind of positioned within the hole.
Now, the fence right is OB.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Calvin Heimberg. He set himself up for an eagle look here on 16, possibly. And that's a big pull, but likely an up and down birdie at best. And as we're moving down the fairway, we're going to take a look at, Nate, your keys for closing, brought to us by blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store.
Well, I would say the first key is know what's inbounds and out of bounds, so I can take the L on that one. But yeah, you know, obviously the wind direction is very, very critical here for these closing holes. You do have to flip the switch. Once you come out on 12, you got to change speeds and play these open holes. And of course, holes 13 through 18. Critical holes, and really it's actually 15 through 18. I might actually adjust that. 15 through 18 so critical to winning this tournament and closing out an incredible round. And you know, we've seen it today, Terry. People have been close to greatness and just fallen off towards the end.
A methodical approach working out here for Kevin Jones. Him and Macbeth right next to one another. About the same distance left for Macbeth. It's not always easy to get away from our cameras. Paul is ducking behind. Here's Gannon Burr.
Well, not when you're Paul Macbeth.
And the best approach thus far comes from Burr.
I mean, it just goes to show you how good of a tee shot that was from
Calvin.
Yeah. Goodness. So Hamas is 11 now, by the way. This is the tee shot on 17. He did birdie 16. So officially we have somebody at 11 under par, Terry.
There it is, and that may set him up for another forehand approach. He's trying to get to 12. Cale throwing his second on 16. Just got to tap it in, Happy. Just tap it in.
That's right. Yeah, of these finishing 4 in these conditions, 16 is an absolute must-get birdie. You know, I mean, we saw earlier, I think it was James Conrad bogey actually on 16. I mean, those are big mistakes on the finishing 4 holes.
Yeah, it's one thing to bogey, say, 9 or 12. It's another thing to bogey an easy hole.
name is Garrett Gerthy, also known as Double G, and I'm the founder of Double G Craft Jerky.
Double G Craft Jerky is an awesome snack when you have a hankering on the course. You need a little something to pick you up out there so you can really get after a drive or finish on a putt and capitalize.
When you're playing a disc golf round and you're hungry and you don't have a snack on the course, you start to lose focus, you start thinking about what am I going to eat for dinner. With Double G Craft Jerky, that's not a problem.
The Educational Disc Golf Experience is the leading nonprofit organization bringing disc golf to schools nationwide since 2003. EDGE provides age-appropriate discs, targets, and a classroom-linked curriculum which empower educators to teach the fundamentals of the sport. In EDGE's 20 years of existence, over 2 million youth have been introduced to this great lifetime activity. Be a part of the next chapter of disc golf. Support EDGE today.
Back with Kevin Jones, tee of 16. Here's Cole Radallen throwing his second on hole number 17. He's already at 9 under.
Playing that a little safe, potentially too safe. We didn't see the spotter.
Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and get a green flag for him there. So Cole will be inbounds. You called it. First guy to 11 under is Adam Hammis. Now we're going to see his second shot.
Yeah, let's see if he can get to 12. He does have a fantastic sidearm, but you have to commit to throwing down that water line if you want to get close to this basket. I mean,
Perfect.
he's done that beautifully.
Perfect.
That is a speedy green. We saw that earlier with Brody Smith as well. Shot from Adam Hammis.
Say, does Macbeth have enough extra spice to put on this to maybe give him an eagle look?
(16), the easiest hole today. 78% of the field have taken birdie. That's how you get a chance at eagle, Terry. Just outside circle 2 for Gannon Burr. Super aggressive, took it out over that OB on the right side.
And as we look at these scores, I start immediately thinking ahead to PDGA number and where you're going to be positioned. Of course, there's going to be a ton of ties. PDGA number is what ultimately is the tiebreaker. The lowest or lower PDGA number when you're tied with someone gives you the advantage to play up on the higher card. Nico LaCastro is going to have the lowest out of all those competitors that you're seeing anywhere here on this lead card, but something to just kind of keep in the back of your mind when you start positioning and jockeying for position, looking at day 2. Scrolling down a little bit, Miles Seaborn, Bradley Williams, who we saw come in very early with that 9 under, a clean 9 under. Jared Stoll, Andrew Presnell, a few others.
Yeah, Nate Sexton, our commentary booth partner out there playing in Waco, sitting at 8 under.
Approaching the 5 o'clock hour. Just quick reminder that we'll have daylight savings time and everything will get slightly adjusted for Sunday's broadcast. Make sure you also push your clocks ahead Saturday night.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate spring forward that we all, I would say, don't look forward to.
I was going to say that's one less hour at Bevel. Here's the long look for Gannon Burr. Trying to capitalize. Can he eagle 16?
So close.
Wow, and that aggressive run, though, is going to put him in jeopardy of the comebacker for the birdie.
Yeah, and that's just a product of the elevated basket, giving it a really solid, hard run there, and we'll have to try to make a long putt for birdie.
This filtering back toward the fairway, and good position, not great, though. We'll have to see if he goes with a high forehand possibly, or maybe if he goes with a mid, very overstable mid and just tries to turn it over, similar to what we saw from Valerie Mundahano last year. But first, we've got Gannon Burr now.
I swear, they should have a plaque from where Valerie threw that shot. That was incredible last year to take the title.
All right, so he'll still walk away with the birdie, but he had to work for it.
Yeah, best of both worlds there for Gannon Burr. Got the eagle look, and then still takes home the birdie.
Like a foot more right on that first putt.
Macbeth to move to 9. Kevin Jones in for birdie, so exactly what we'd expect from this card. This is Cole Radalin trying to get to 10 under.
Putting towards the water.
Is that you there, Adam? Yeah.
Still a pretty solid round from the youngster.
Here's Adam Hammis. This is to try and get to 12 under. And 2 clear of the field. Adam Hammis, the 12-pack, clean scorecard with 1 hole left to play.
And Sexton went to birdie that hole as well. We saw him in the background. He's at 9 under. I think it was just a few hours ago, Terry, that I said we're going to see a log jam today, and that's exactly what we have. Just all depends on what group we're going to see tomorrow in the lead card.
I think that was Adam Hammis buzzing by, trying to pull away from everyone else out there on the water. I know how he loves to fish.
There's your answer, Terry. He went with the high sidearm, and that was perfect. That's the first one we've been able, or that we've seen on camera really sit right next to the basket from the sidearm angle.
Speaking of sidearms,
I don't think it's me. Yeah.
I'm sure too many people throw a better one than that man, Nate Sexton. But first, Adam Hammis sitting at 12 under.
468 feet. It does play slightly downhill, just a hair, and if you're going to make the mistake, you do need to make it right.
I like this.
Oh, yeah.
This looks great. Because it is middle of circle 2 for Hammis. He'll have to decide how aggressive he wants to be on the putt, but Adam Hammis, 12 under, possibly could get to 13.
So let's see what Sexton has for us. He did pull out the Bushnell. Looks like he's going to go to the backhand. Yeah, he's going for it here, Terry.
As long as that checks up short of the wall, no problem.
So the advantage to doing that, even if you were going to lay up, is A, you're on that side, but B, you don't have to throw your second shot over the water still.
Yeah, where you could potentially come up short and find yourself with multiple shots.
Yeah, the number could get a lot bigger.
At least when you're over there, you've already crossed the water, as you're saying. Here's Gossage. And this is going to look pretty similar to what we just saw from Sexton. A little bit better. Actually, he continues to get some ground play. He might be closer than Hammis.
Yeah, he's definitely over there in that Hammis area.
Here's Cole Rodolin. Now he's at 8 under after the bogey on 17.
I think Cole will be on the second shot. Over there on 17. This one looks good, though.
Right there in that Hammis territory. Oh, doesn't get any kind of skip. Checks up almost immediately, but at least gives him a look for birdie. 4 tee shots inbounds, and here's Cale LaVisca. Oh, this looks beautiful.
That is so nice, Terry. Makes it through the trees and beautiful control.
Incredible start here for so many of these competitors. 10 under is the number, but Adam Hammis could pull ahead even more if he converts on his birdie look on 18. We're back with Kevin Jones, tee of 17. This one cut short. That's going to be a difficult second shot. I mean, he definitely is not going at the pin, clearly, unless he tries to cut the corner and gets really aggressive and goes out over the OB.
Macbeth did that last year, but he was way up the fairway. So I'm not sure that's even possible. Oh.
He's lucky he got the skip he did, but that was a misfire by Robinson.
Yeah, Isaac's just been off point all day long.
Luke Humphreys. It's a birdie look on 17. The jumper cashing it in.
I mean, he's made a run here, Terry. Look at that. 11 through 17 has birdied all the holes minus hole 15, which has been unbirdied by anybody today. So nearly perfect there for Luke.
He's gone 6 under in the last 7 holes.
Which is, I mean, you know, essentially perfect, right? Because 15 is, at least today, unbirdied. Gannon was hoping for a lot more of some skip on that shot. Cale for birdie. And Kale also playing perfect since he came out of the woods. 13 through 17, all birdies except on 15. And pretty much the same from Calvin as well.
Thanks to our friends at Google Earth, we can check out where we see all of our feature card second shots and where they're going to come from.
I would say this is the worst grouping of shots we've seen so far on today's show. I mean, Gannon is about the best, and he's in a questionable spot to even have an aggressive look at going for this basket. This is Jones just laying up.
Yeah, Jones actually in a position where he maybe would have even found his original drive.
After two, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
now after two, he's going to be.
So this is the bird's eye view of the landing zone. You can see, and we just see a disc right there laying up. That was actually the shot of.
Off to a great start. He's trying to close out strong as well.
I mean, just to buy that birdie putt towards the water, he'll take it. See what Adam got here in a moment. Terry, was this area that we saw the shot from Macbeth last year. Up and over the top, completely blind. From this angle, he's basically throwing at the water, trying to throw a big high spike and trying to pick the speed and actually the launch angle to try to find circle one.
Oh, that's way too inside. Kicks off the tree, and I can't imagine that lands anywhere but out of bounds. We'll check with Brian, or we'll see from the spotters here. And Brian, we see the red flag, but tell us what he's going to have. Will he be able to get up and down from where he's placed, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have a circle two look at the basket. I mean, he carried pretty far after that clip, so if he can land that putt, that's pretty impressive. Tough spot.
Okay, appreciate it, Brian. That's exactly what I was looking for. Is how far did he carry before going out of bounds? So it at least should be an up and down from there. Worst case scenario, 2 more strokes.
So of this group, Macbeth, the only one that's even in reasonable position here. Just going to have that look down the water line. Beautiful bird's eye view here.
Comes up just short. Beautiful shot by Macbeth. Also looking ahead at the scorecard. If
that worked out.
All right, first we're going to check in with Hammis, and he doesn't want any part of it. As you said, maybe he would buy that off of Radalin.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That is smart veteran play there from Hammis. Because, I mean, he could have easily gone bogey had he gone in the water, or even worse, potentially. So, fantastic round from Adam.
Yeah, clean scorecard, and also going to bed tonight thinking, hey, I played it smart. I'm going to have a lead or a share of the lead, and I didn't give anything away on the very final hole of the round. So, I love the play by Hammis in the clubhouse with 12 under. What I was saying is, if we see Paul Macbeth, he needs to get to at least 10. That would secure him a spot on the lead card due to the tiebreakers I was talking about earlier.
The home football stadium of Baylor University, just a mile down the road.
Heimberg's in threat of going deep, but it's going to check up and he'll be safe. So Calvin Heimberg at 11 will have a chance to get to 12 if he goes aggressive with that putt.
Yeah, and and what a run from Gannon. A little frustration there from Gannon Burr. I would not be surprised if Calvin Heimberg laid that up. You have a good round already.
100% agree.
But you know, the reality is that you're already there. You're at or near the lead, and I think Hamas proved that perfectly. He did that exact same thing, and in the clubhouse with the 12 under.
Oh, really, dude?
So Jones will have to settle for a par. He'll remain at 9 under.
This is Macbeth to move into the log jam at 10 under. Yep. We know Macbeth has the power to get to the 18th basket. In fact, this entire group does.
And our leader is Adam Hamas. He's currently in the clubhouse with a 12 under opening round. And we're going to catch up with him and Hayden Henry right now.
All right, checking in with the clubhouse leader, Adam Hamas. 12 under par today. Ideal day out here. Just break it down for us.
You know, I started a little shaky. I was a little nervous on hole 1, left a little short, missed hole 1, and then I went on to get 7 straight after that, and I just kept it rolling. So obviously I'm coming off the Memorial. Didn't finish that tournament how I wanted, so I'm a little heated. So I'm trying to play aggressive right now.
All right, you got 7 in a row, then ran into a little trouble on 9 and 10, had to scramble. Break down those 2 holes for us.
9, I'm actually laying up. I'm only throwing up the middle to get, you know, advance the disc only a couple hundred feet and just take my par. I'm not trying to play for birdie on that hole, so par was the plan. I got par. And on 10, I left my drive a little high, leaked a little left, and I kind of just shanked my upshot and got up and down for par. So, yeah, nothing too crazy.
And this back 9 has had people have had some trouble scoring a little bit. Not the case for you. What were you able to do on the back 9 to finish this out?
I mean, I had that 7 in a row start, so I was like, you know, you got the momentum, you got the confidence, so just keep it rolling, don't do anything different, and make putts. That's all it went.
You know, with these conditions and it playing a little on the easy side of scoring day, does that add any pressure to your round?
Not really. I like calm conditions, obviously. I think everyone does. It's beautiful out here. It's maybe 75 degrees, light humidity, and minimal wind to none. So, perfect scoring conditions. I'm glad I could take advantage of it.
All right, tomorrow, any adjustments, any notes you took today that tweak tomorrow?
No. I'd like to not be as shaky on hole 1, and you know, early in the round, I had a little nerves. Hopefully, calm that down for tomorrow, and I should be good.
All right, that's Adam Hamas. He's leading the way so far in Waco.
All right.
Congrats to Adam on the solid round, and we saw Kelvin Heimberg just a moment ago pitch up.
Acting like you're done. Exactly. That's exactly why we did it.
And the rest of the card tapping out.
Come on, dude. I deserved one of those putts.
This is golf. Thanks, buddy.
And now Paul Macbeth. And the quick takeaway I want to have about Adam, he opened up the Memorial last week with the hottest round of all competitors. In fact, he was 2 clear of the next closest competitor, but as he just said, he didn't finish it the way he started. He's looking for revenge this weekend.
Uh-oh, this looks way right, Terry.
Is it low enough to check up in time? It isn't. Macbeth goes OB deep.
Just mistakes. We've seen them time after time on 18. Macbeth overplaying that shot. I'm going to say bogey at best. He's going to pretty much just have to lay up from there. So Macbeth's going to drop out of the lead card. At that moment, he was in the lead card.
Yeah, he would be on lead card going into tomorrow. If he takes the bogey 4 to get him to 9, he may dip as far as the 3rd card.
Yeah.
Significant difference here.
The 10s are certainly holding down the 1st and 2nd card, no doubt about that. Along with the 2 at the top at 12 and 11.
I'm ready for an ace here. Well, Kevin Jones isn't going to provide me one, but he is safe. that left to right wind. Thanks to Gannon's chalk bag.
Gannon needs this birdie to be 4 back of the leader.
Currently in a tie for 29th as he's sitting at 7 under. Just needs to hook up. Might. Okay, not quite in circle one, just a step or two outside of it though. So great shot by Gannon Burr.
I mean, the reality is for you folks at home, this hole's 468 feet. You pretty much got to carry water the whole way. So, you know, it's
if you're trying to be aggressive and attack the pin, right?
Yeah, and I mean there's a reason why you see these players ending up to the right, because you have all of that space over there, and it's a shorter carry over the water. I mean, James Conrad was the only guy we really saw go at that 20 feet short, which puts you in the water. So, you know, it's remember all of these shots come Sunday afternoon. These are very critical holes, 17 and 18, the water coming into play.
And coming into play one last time for us today, we've got Brian Earhart out there on the ground. Brian, any final takeaways before we cut you loose for the round?
You know, I really have to talk about Paul McBeth. It was really interesting watching him out there today. I feel like for the past year and a half, we've seen this style of play where he plays brilliantly on so much of the course, hits so many circle 2 looks, throws so many wonderful drives, but follows them up with very strange elementary mistakes. And I'm a little confused. And what's interesting is he's still right up towards the top. So he's always keeping it interesting for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, appreciate that, Brian. And I think both of us here in the studio completely agree. We've been so surprised. And he's set such a level of excellence for so many years of playing nearly flawless golf. And so when we do see him play really well for most of the round, but then just give away strokes in these little random sporadic spots, it's been just kind of shocking to us over this last year and a half, as you said. But he's certainly going to be right there in the mix. Again, whether it's a bogey or a par here on the scorecard, that means he's either going to be 2 or 3.
You know, McBeth is a perfect example of when you look at the best players of all time, when you look at the Ken Climos, when you look at the Barry Schultzes and you look at the Paul McBeths, they're never out of it. No matter how much it seems like they're out of it, they never really are. And it's because of their competitive spirit. It's because of the fact that they don't give up. And yeah, they make mistakes just like everybody else, but somehow their mistakes are just better than everybody else's mistakes. Somehow, some way.
Yeah, and he's back even more than I realized. So as you're saying, I guess he might take a stab at this to save it. Now he's just pitching it up, and he's going to concede. That's going to be a bogey for McBeth. That'll be a second one of the day, and he'll be at 9 under, which is 3 off of our leader in Adam Hammes. All or nothing putt by Robinson, and as we said, a very disappointing day for Isaac today. Burr comes up short looking at the water. KJ is in. Really not an impressive finish by the card. The fact that we're going to see them play 1 over on hole 18. But we're going to take a look at some of the highlights that we did see today. We didn't need to edit them in for 18, that's for sure. Calvin Heimberg back on 4, the huge birdie. Way deep in circle 2. You also saw Paul Oman when we caught up with him. This was his par save. Paul Oman doing some work out there today. He finishes at 10 under. Gannon Burr trying to ring that one up from long range. He'd go on to make that putt, walk away with the par. And then, I don't know if this is the best or the worst par of the day that we're seeing here from Calvin Heimberg, putting the hurt on this one. Unfortunately, Calvin not able to convert, but if you could give him that drive, he'd take it every single time. Anyone would pay for that drive. If you could walk up to most of the players in the field and say, hey, I'll give you $5 for that drive, they would take it all day long. So you called it at the top of the show, Nate. You said that this is anybody's game, and the scoring has been all over. Felt like there was a force field around that 10 under, but were there any major surprises but what we're seeing out here today with this scoring?
I wouldn't say any major surprises. In fact, at the top of the show, not only we talk about it's anybody's game, which it obviously still is, we talked about the fact that with the weather conditions, we were going to see a logjam, and that's exactly what we have. It is anybody's game all the way down to maybe even 8 under par. I mean, Gannon Burr's at 7, so I'm going to even go to 7 at this point. Any one of those guys can win between 7 and the lead. To me, the big standout is probably Calvin Heimberg. Adam Hammis, that's an incredible round. Not out of the realm of what we would expect from him, but for Calvin, who hasn't performed all that well at Waco, the way he played in the woods, I think, was very impressive. And then, of course, he did everything he could in the open to basically, Hammis to the brink of not being the outright leader. That missed putt on 15 and then the layup on 18. So overall, just a fun day of disc golf, and it's nice when the weather's not so crazy here at Waco.
Yeah, and then when someone like Nate Sexton leaves us from here in the booth, and he goes out there and performs, we're seeing him in the top 10.
Right. That's right.
That's a little bit of that booth love we're sending out to you, Nate Sexton. We're missing you here, but you're clearly doing work out there today. We love it. We're going to have the OTB shot of the day, along with interviews from Calvin Heimberg and Paul Macbeth on the other side of this commercial break. We'll be right back.
This year, Prodigy is celebrating its 10th year as a disc golf disc manufacturer. In the beginning of this journey, we found out that making discs isn't so easy. It wasn't too long in the process that something just clicked. To celebrate Prodigy's 10-year anniversary, we wanted to bring an old plastic back that you can find in some older runs of M4s, but it is not a plastic from Prodigy's current selection. You will see this logo more on our 10-year anniversary special releases.
Check out the whole lineup at clashdisc.com.
What people are going to notice when they pick up the Supreme Series is superior grip, superior durability.
The plastic feels great, and it's going to be something you're always going to want to reach for.
To anybody sitting on the couch that hasn't played disc golf,
get off the couch, get some exercise, get some fresh air and sunshine. Sunshine gives you vitamin D3. That's the best thing you can do. Sorry.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines in NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
This looks perfect. Off the basket. Now it's rolling. It's headed for the OB. This needs to sit. Oh my goodness. It's safe. Right on the line. She's going to have about a 30-foot putt for the win. Okay, here we go. The putt is up. Boom. It's in. Strong side with authority. What an incredible moment. Yes. Welcome back. Paul Macbeth fell off in the last hole or two, but he's a two-time champ here in Waco. We're going to catch up with him now.
T9, 9 under par. As you were walking up here, you mentioned that you made a lot of driving mistakes out there. Decent score for making a lot of driving mistakes. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, just some uncharacteristic OBs out there. I don't think I've ever been close to OB on that hole behind us. I think 13 or something like that. But yeah, just was not putting the disc where I wanted off the tee. But I feel like through the woods, I have fairly good accuracy, so I'm getting a lot of birdie opportunities. So I was able to knock those down. But yeah, I mean, my game feels great, so I'm kind of disappointed with the 9.
I mean, 11 birdies on the scorecard. Talk about one of the specific mistakes on hole number 9, just weird bogey, and for the entire card, it was kind of a tough hole. What happened back there?
Yeah, I just pulled my tee shot a little to the right. I mean, I was still in a good position being in the middle of the fairway, but I was kind of in that spot to where I wasn't far enough to push it around the corner, but I knew if there's windows high, and I knew there was one low, and I just felt like going high. I was going to avoid the early stuff, but I just clipped a branch a little bit earlier than I wanted, and I mean, out of my hand, it was a little bit high, but sometimes it can push through there. But just got the nose up, and it just stalled and came back towards me. So that kind of put me in a really bad spot. But I went off the top of the band to save par. So
Kevin Jones made the exact same mistake, going with that spike forehand just a little bit high of the corner. Yeah. Have you successfully gotten up and down with that high forehand? I actually haven't seen a lot of players convert.
Yeah, if you push it more towards that back tree, we weren't pushing it far enough. Actually, his hit the back tree and kicked really far back, so he was a little, I think, too close to throw that shot. I think he could have went a little lower, but yeah, I was a little bit further back, so even getting to that back tree would have been a success for me. But yeah, ideally, you want to go low, but with how pinched off we kind of were, if we would have hit a little early, we would have pulled in there anyways. So I feel like both of them were very risky shots, but just a bogey.
Tomorrow is supposed to be a little bit hotter, a little bit windier, and when this course gets windy, anything goes really. Do you feel like that plays to your advantage?
Well, so today was kind of interesting for us. The wind switched on us. We were supposed to have kind of a north wind, and we were facing a southeast, which very rarely do you get an east wind out here. You kind of saw that affecting some of the shots. It was kind of pushing them like towards OB that you don't see often hit. So it was actually a unique challenge, but I don't think wind, I think we're used to the wind here. You know, it's kind of expected. You really feel the wind out here on the open holes. And usually with these ones, you got a lot of airspace, so you should be able to control them. But depending on which way the wind's blowing, you can get some eagle opportunities on some of these.
Well, despite how you felt, you survived with a decent round. You're right in the mix, just 3 off the lead off Adam Hammis. Good luck tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
And what I'm taking away is we were looking at a scorecard just a moment ago. Out of the 6 easiest holes on the course, he missed 3 of them.
Yeah.
He missed hole 2. You have to get hole number 2. He missed hole 3. That's one of the easier holes out on the course. He missed hole 13. Also one of the easier holes on the course. So clearly he put up a bunch of birdies, but when he was missing some of those holes, he was missing the easiest or easier holes on the course. So when I look to places he can easily clean things up for tomorrow, you got to start there, right?
Well, not only that, great look there, observation, I should say. 2 of those 3 he threw out of bounds. He threw OB on 2, he threw OB on 13, and he threw out of bounds on 18 as well. He was talking about the easterly wind maybe affecting it, and actually the easterly wind would have affected all 3 of those shots. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when you really do look at his scorecard, minus hole 9 and the missed putt on 5, he was perfect in the woods. He birdied all of those holes in the woods. So, look, Macbeth's a 2-time champion here. If he can get a good one in tomorrow, find himself at or near the lead, obviously we have to look at him as the favorite.
Well, and it's going to be challenging because it's such a logjam up there.
Exactly.
So if somebody duplicates
it
what they did today,
anybody, right?
that's exactly it. So we'll see what he can do. But right now we've got Calvin Heimberg. He's also out there with Brian Earhart. Let's hear from them now.
Catching up with Calvin Heimberg after an 11 under opening round at Waco. Just a pristine day out here, kind of unusual for Waco. So how do you have to take advantage of a day like this on this course?
Yeah, I mean, it's not often we get calm weather, no wind, and nice mild temperature. So you just had to go out and kind of score. You could tell there was a lot of decent scores coming in early. And I mean, I just kind of knew, because of the weather, I was going to have lots of opportunities to score today. So I think I did pretty well out there. A couple little hiccups, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with what I did.
Are you looking at scores? Are you aware of what's going on elsewhere?
I checked some of the scores, before I teed off, but during the round, not too much. I know where my card's at, but I'm not super aware of what other people are doing on the course.
Well, we all know Waco, the half open, half woods. Getting a 72-foot throw in on 4.
Yeah.
How does that spark you, going into the woods?
I mean, yeah, it was a pretty nice putt. It was turnover putt there on hole 4. I threw a couple not so great shots, but still gave myself a look, and I was able to cash it. It's always a great way to have a nice big putt early in the round. It just makes you feel confident. So I definitely kind of built off of that, scored a lot of birdies on the front 9, and yeah, it helped me score low today.
More condition talk. It's supposed to be good, the rest of the weekend. How does it change the dynamic of this tournament and this course?
I think it's just that you're definitely gonna have to shoot lower. I mean, I don't think it's like anyone's playing more or less aggressive. I think it's just, the conditions are more favorable and everyone's just a little more comfortable out here. So you're gonna have to score super low to win this event this week if the weather stays the same.
All right, that's Calvin Heimberg, 11 under after 1 in Waco.
And great to hear from Calvin. Again, nothing we wouldn't expect to hear from him. Aggression is really an interesting concept on this course because we heard Adam Hammis talk about it, but then he said, well, on hole 9, I'm just kind of, trying to get it down the fairway to, to come out with a par at best. And then he talked about how he was not aggressive during the final putt, but everything else in between looked pretty good out of him. You think anybody will change anything up tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, everybody knows what needs to happen out at Waco. I mean, even with horrible wind, we do see a lot of low scores regardless of that. As Macbeth said, depending on the wind direction, whether it's north or south, you can get some eagles even in the super high wind. To me, Calvin Heimberg was the standout of today. And you look at his scorecard. Yeah, he bogeyed 9. Yeah, he bogeyed 12. By the way, those are the 2 hardest holes on the course. What did he do otherwise? He birdied almost every single hole minus 3. And one of them was a bounce out chain out, and the other one was a layup. So Calvin Heimberg was on one today, and a bounce here, a bounce there. He could have certainly been 15, 16 under par. So I think Calvin was the standout to me today, but Adam Hammes did exactly what he needed to do. Clean scorecard for Hammes.
Yeah, it was very impressive. Again, I think back to a week ago, he started out so hot. He continued hot through the first 2 rounds, and then things slid away from him as the weekend progressed. This weekend, we've got just the 3 rounds. Again, out to the hottest start out of all competitors. So things are looking good for Adam Hammes. And there's going to be a lot of other great competitors. Obviously, Nico LaCastro, winner of this event. James Proctor is going to be joining them on the lead card tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing how that's going to shake out. And then we have a whole slew of people, all log jam. That's the phrase we keep using because it's so true.
I know. I'm gonna commit to not saying that word again.
In this, it's
bunched up.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we saw a bunch of great shots today, but there can only be one. We know the best shot of the day coming to us by our friends at OTB. Let's take a look at it now. Gannon Burr, hole number 10.
Go in. Do it.
You heard him calling for it about halfway there. Gannon Burr almost collects the birdie from way deep. Just off the chains, he'd go on to save the par. And one more.
I mean, honestly, luckily the basket got in the way.
Do it.
So close. We're going to be back on Saturday to give you more action for round number 2. Join us again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Myself along with Valerie Jenkins, and tomorrow afternoon 2:30 p.m. myself and Nate Doss. For Brian Earhart out on the course, for Nate Doss, and I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. That's Waco round number 1. We'll see you tomorrow morning.